Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
You're probably surprised to see me here. It was supposed to be Rabbi Riedi, but on a short notice, an hour ago, I just found out that I have to replace him. So, quickly, I was thinking what to talk about. We'll talk about several different things. I would like to start with the beautiful words of the Chazon Ish, which always applies to each one of us, especially in these days. This is what the Chazon Ish writes. Im Adam hu ba'al nefesh, a person has a soul, u'sh'ato sh'ata sheket, and he has a peace of mind in this moment. Chofshi mira'avon ta'avani, free from hunger to any desire. Az ro'eh et ha'olam be'inayim be'irot. Then he can see the world with clear eyes, in a right way. What do we understand from this Chazon Ish? That as long as we are addicted to our desires and all the pleasures that this world has to offer, the physical pleasures, it's affecting us directly in the judgment and in our common sense, on the choices that we make. It's haberatalia. The higher the desire level is, the more mistakes we make. Even though a person thinks, big deal, I like to eat, I like to dress nice, I like, all kinds of things, sport, whatever. Everyone with his desires. What does it have to do with my learning skills? What does it have to do with my choices? The answer is, of course it has to do. Because the concept of this life, everybody understands, it's body and soul. Soul is with Hashem, the body is with the Yetzer Hara, with the Satan. When you put your efforts in your body and your pleasure, you're taking the wrong side. When you put it in the neshama, obviously you come close to Hashem, as the Ramchal repeats many times in his books. Chazal say there is a pasuk, Kidvar Hashem baza. The person disgraces the word of Hashem. Dvar Hashem baza, bazui. Bazui means like despicable. So the question is, who is the Jew that will have the nerve to take the word of Hashem and put it down or make fun of it? Or who would do such thing? Person that understands the word of Hashem would dare to do such a thing. Even your boss at work, whether you like him or not, you think a million times before you do it to him, how you do it to Hashem. So the answer is, who is Dvar Hashem baza? Chazal say, זה שאפשר לו לעסוק בתורה ואינו עוסק. Someone who can learn Torah, has the time to learn Torah, has the ability to learn Torah, but he is busy with other things. Rav Chaim Volozhin, in one of his drashot, one that will never be forgotten, this is what he said. He said, חייב אדם לראות עצמו, person must see himself, כאילו הוא אחד מאלה שהמשנה בסנהדרין, like he is one of the people that the Mishnah in Sanhedrin, אמרה עליהם, spoke about. The Mishnah in Sanhedrin brings a list of people, לא עלינו, God forbid, that lose their share to the עולם הבא. ואין לו חלק לעולם הבא. It's a list over there. Everybody understands, everyone knows by heart the first half of the Mishnah, because it's from davening. כל ישראל יש להם חלק לעולם הבא, שנאמר, ועמך כולם צדיקים. So that's the good part. The other half of the Mishnah, almost nobody knows. It's not in a tefillah, it's not in a davening. So if you learn Sanhedrin, you know. If you didn't learn, you don't know. So there's a list of Jews that lost their share to the world to come, lo alenu. One of them is who? Rav Chaim Volozhin says, every person has to see that he is one of the people that the Mishnah spoke about. One of them is a person who can learn Torah and doesn't learn. And what happened in that moment when he said it? It was more than 200 years ago. Everyone in his synagogue, everyone was crying like babies, loud. The voice of the crying was so loud that he couldn't finish his drasha. He stepped down in the middle of his drasha. Today, we hear this Musar probably daily, or at least weekly. No? If we learn Musar, or we go to a Musar Shiur, we hear that the Rabbi spoke about Bitul Torah, the importance of Torah, Bitul Torah, Bitul Torah, Bitul Torah. We hear about it. There's Bitul Torah bekamut, there's Bitul Torah beechut. What's the difference? How do we bichlal know that there is such a concept, Bitul Torah beechut? Who knows? Torah, it's Torah. You know, there's a famous argument between the Sfaradi poskim to the Ashkenazi poskim if you're allowed to stand in the middle of the laning of the 10 Commandments. The custom of the Ashkenazim that when the Baal Koire comes to the Aseret HaDibrot, everyone rise. Some poskim say, no, it's not allowed to rise. It's a machloket. It's not so simple. Why? Rising in the 10 Commandments, saying that the rest of the Torah is not as important. It's a big, serious problem. It's not so simple. So what does a person who, according to his halacha, is not allowed to rise and he daven in Ashkenazi minyan, would rise to get a chumash, or walk to get a chumash, or something, or sidur, or a book. He walks while they're laning, so he's yotze shnei hashitot, anyway to rise, right? But because according to him, I rise now, the rest of the Torah is not as important, chas v'shalom, every letter in the Torah is equal. It's 304,805 letters in the Torah, everything is 100% equal. So how do we know, Bechlal, there is a concept of Bitul Torah be'echut? How do we know? One of the proofs is Mevatlim Talmud Torah Bishvil Kriyat Megillah. So what's the Chidush? Kriyat Megillah, it's not Torah. It's a part of the Tanakh. So the Chidush here is that, Megillah, fine, Megillat Esther, it's Torah, fine, but it's not like Gemara, which is in a higher level. And the Rambam writes that in the beginning of his life, he learned Chumash, Mishnah, Halacha, all the things that he needs to know, the foundation, and then from now on, for the rest of his life, he Yasok B'Talmud, which is the highest level of learning. So we have this concept. So we are not talking now about Bitul Torah be'echud. Let's first talk about the kamut in quantity, not in quality. Today when we hear this Musar, I never saw one person cry. Nobody cries. Oh, we heard it 500 times already, Rabbi. How many times we can hear it? You heard it 500 times and nobody changed? What does it say about us? That we got a heart of a rock? What's nothing absorbed inside? Nothing, that's it, a robot? It's very interesting what's going on here. The Chazon Ish writes like this, in another place. אם יזכה אדם להדגיש את הרע והנמאס, if a person will have the zchus to feel the bad and get tired בהיעדר ידיעת התורה, if a person will feel how horrible his situation when he's ignorant in Torah knowledge, עד שימס לבבו בבכי, until his heart will melt with tears, with the crying. He cries so much that his heart will melt. He feels that there's no heart anymore. Like David HaMelech said, ליבי חלל בקרבי. That's what he meant. לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא, in front of Hashem, הנה ידע, he should know, כי כבר זכה בהרבה. It's already a step to a much higher level than what he was before he started to cry. Already made a huge step forward. כבר זכה בהרבה, ואשרי חלקו. אשריו, אשרי חלקו. הוא כבר מובטח לו שתפילתו נשמעת. The simple understanding here, every person who cries when he davens, of course, שערי דמעה לא ננעלו. So if a person got to such situation that he cry, and his heart was melting, if the davening won't be heard now, when would it be heard? If not now, that's it. אם לא עכשיו ומתי. We know this famous Gemara, Rabbi Elazar ben Dordaya. There's now one woman he did not visit in his bad days. And then when one of them told him who he is, and he learned from this Bzuya, the Prutza, he learned from her Musar. So he cry until he dies from crying. Did you ever hear a person who cry in this generation die from crying? How can you die from crying? Cry. A person can cry, pull his hair off, tragedy happened, chas v'shalom. Nobody cries, nobody dies from crying. But the Gemara testified that he cried from crying. So that means it was a real serious tshuva. All of a sudden, an echo came, bat kol, Rabbi. In 1 minute, he became a rabbi. No smicha, no 10 years in yeshiva, nothing. Became a rabbi. The Gemara calls him a rabbi. Yesterday was who knows where, and today became a rabbi. In 24 hours. See the power of tshuva, a real tshuva. Not only that he wasn't guilty anymore of all his sins, everything turned into mitzvot. There's no other way to explain this expression. Well, rabbi, you call him rabbi. You call him Baal Tshuva, starting to make tshuva. Made a great tshuva. Rabbi? What knowledge he had? He was doing all kinds of averos. It wasn't exactly a Talmid Chacham learning in Amel Batorah, no? So how he became a rabbi overnight? So sometimes retroactive, even the averos of a person can turn into a treasure. It's all depend on this tshuva. This is what the Mishnah in Avot says, that there are few things that were created before the world. One of them is the tshuva. Because the concept of tshuva, it's against, first of all, it's against all odds, but it's against the law of nature. Why it's against the law of nature? If a person is in an intersection and he has 4 different highways to enter, and each highway is very long with almost no exits, and one of them is recommended, the other one are wrong direction, and he enters in the wrong direction, and he drives like this for 10 hours. And all of a sudden he found out that he's in the wrong direction. What does he have to do in order for him to correct his mistake? I have to go 10 hours all the way back to the beginning point and start from zero, right? Very painful punishment. But Hashem knew, we have Chazal, Takanat HaShavim. If you stole a nail from someone and you put it in the Empire State Building, technically if he wants this nail, you have to put the building down and give him the nail. But one person in a history would do such a thing? Well, okay, I'll be a thief, I'll steal a nail. What can you do? Here, you don't want the money, leave me alone. Nobody would knock down the building for a nail. Chazal knew that nobody would do it, so they made Takanat HaShavim. But really you can see that Hashem himself made Takanat HaShavim. Because how Hashem made Takanat HaShavim? If Hashem would require us to do according to nature a correction to what we did, nobody would even begin. Just from seeing the way, how far it is, people would give up. So the concept of tshuva is like the hand of Hashem. He comes, he picks you up from where you are and puts you in the other lane, the right one. Otherwise, you have to go all the way to the beginning and start. Where are we going to start? That's why tshuva had to be created before the world, before the law of nature. Otherwise, there's no other way to understand that. Also, there's another Gemara that is a little bit strange. Maybe you can help me to understand it. It says that Rabbi Freda had a Talmid, was teaching him 400 times. 1 page of Gemara, 400 times per day, 400 times. First of all, how do you have time in 1 day to learn the page 400 times? That's one question, but that's not really my main question here. The question is that you know the story, that he was teaching him every day 400 times, and one time he said to him, listen, today I have an important thing to do, try to understand faster than normal. And that day he did not understand anything. From the fear, from the pressure, lo hakapdan melamed, he saw that today's makpid, he couldn't concentrate. Then he started from the beginning, another 400 times. The question is, what, do you know one gadol today? Take one of the gdolim, anyone, any Rosh Yeshiva that have time to learn with a student that is in a level of pre-1A. He needs 400 times to understand one page. Where this Gadol had time for him? There was no emergency things for Klal Israel to do than to sit with a Talmid that is in first or second grade that he needs the Daf Gemara 400 times to be his tutor. I never understood this Gemara. I tell you that, I'll be honest with you. Maybe you have an answer. I don't know. What do you think? How do you understand this Gemara? 400 times? Fine, you have a Talmid Mavrik. You love him. You see he wants to learn. You see sometimes Gdolim take somebody. You know the story with Rav Shach in Ponovich. One time Rav Shach came into the yeshiva in the middle of learning. Usually wasn't coming, not to disturb anyone when they're learning. And he went to one Talmid and he told him, oh, you can help me. You the only one probably can help me. What? I was learning this Gemara and I forgot there's a Rabbi Akiva Iger about it. Maybe you can tell me where it is. Everyone looks at this Talmid. He say, hey Rabbi, I know where it is. He went, he got the Gemara, he showed him this Rabbi Akiva Iger. After that, when he went out, his Shamash came to him and said, Rabbi, I know that wasn't the case, for sure you know this Rabbi Akiva Iger. What was this whole show for? I want to learn. Teach me, it's Torah. So he told him, you see, this Talmid was going on a shidduch for a few weeks, and it was very ready to go. It was mamash hours before the Lechaim. And in the last minute, the girl changed her mind, and she broke his heart. And after it happened, for 2 weeks, he was in bed in yeshiva, he could not learn, he cannot focus, his heart is broken. It happens. We are only people, we're not angels. So since the shidduch broke his heart, how do you save a guy like this? You have to find him another shidduch. You get him another shidduch, he forget the old one. He focus on a new one, no? So he said, I asked his Chevruta in the morning what Gemara and they're learning. So he told me what page and what Rabbi Akiva Iger they learned this morning. So I came to ask him this Rabbi Akiva Iger because I knew for sure he's going to know where it is. And now when everyone saw me coming to him in the yeshiva asking him a question in a Gemara, what do you think is going to happen? 2 weeks later he was engaged. You understand what a real Gadol is? That's an amazing machshava, thinking about every little detail. Erev Pesach, when everyone was burning the chametz, he took one of his talmidim to a psychologist in Yerushalayim that had some kind of a mental breakdown. He needed a treatment. So he said, I'm going to take you. I'm an old man. I don't have little children. Everyone is busy with the chametz, burning, preparation. I have the time. He took him, was standing outside in a garden, and he took him. Why he didn't go in? What's the problem? The house of the psychologist, that's where his office is. Why he was standing in the grass? And he never told the psychologist that he was there. A few days later in Chol HaMoed, people told him, we saw Rav Shach standing in your garden. He said, Rav Shach? My God, can it be Erev Pesach? He lives in Bnei Brak. What is he doing here in Yerushalayim? A few hours before Yom Tov? Cannot be. So he asked him, and he said, I was waiting outside. He said, why didn't you come in? He said, because if I would come in, you would feel bad that I came all the way from Bnei Brak to you, and you didn't come to see us in Bnei Brak. I didn't want you to feel bad, so I waited outside. Think about every little thing. One person opened a yeshiva, and he came to him to cry that another yeshiva in the town, the Rosh Yeshiva over there is very makpid at him, that he opened another yeshiva not far. So he said to him, Rabbi, what's the problem? Lagdil Torah v'la'adir. What? More yeshivot, more Torah. What is its problem? Why is going against me? Why is telling the rich people not to help me? All kinds of things. Please talk to him to get him off my back. So Rav Shach was just listening to him. Then he went to his drawer. He opened the drawer. He took a bunch of cash. And he said to him, Mazal u'bracha. Shkoach. Here, take. And the person took the money and got up. And he left. There was another person over there. He said, Rabbi, he comes to talk to you about another one, who yored lechayav. That you talk to that Rosh, get him off his back. What does he have to do? You went and get him cash. He say, when people come to cry to you, you have to see what really bothers them, not what they say. Many times they say one thing, but really what bothers them is another thing completely. Sometimes they themselves don't know what bothers them. It happens to me all the time. People come to me after the lecture, talk to my son, talk to my daughter, they're depressed. What? Okay, tell me what caused you to get depressed. They don't know. Any tragedy happened? Something happened to you in your childhood? Something, try to get some kind of a direction. They don't know. They don't know why. They don't know why they this. They don't know why they that. They don't know. They themselves don't know. They come with a problem, and when you tell them, define your problem, they don't really know what the problem is. That's how confused we can get in this generation. You know, I gave an example of a perfect Rosh Yeshiva. It doesn't need my recommendation, but just for us to understand that not everyone is like this. We should know the truth. The Ramban, 750 years ago, wrote a legendary book, very important book. It's called Sha'ar HaGmul. Everybody knows this book. It's lots of Kabbalah. Inyanei Ha'olam Haba. What's going to happen when we move on? In the beginning of the book, one of the first pages over there, he writes something not shocking, extremely, extremely shocking. One of the most shocking things you can read in a book. And this is the Ramban. What does he write? He say, הפרנסים הממונים על הציבור, people who are in charge of the community, Rosh Yeshiva, Rosh Synagogue, Rosh, everyone with his community, ירדו לגיהנום, will go to Gehenom, and will never come out of there for eternity. Even though, listen good to his words, they taught the public, their community, to follow Torah and mitzvos. How can I go to Gehenom? What's going on here? But the community had one thing in mind, to worship that Rebbe, not Hashem. That was the real God. And they didn't stop it on time. What's going to be their onesh? ירדו לגיהנום ואינם יוצאים משם לעולם. After they taught Torah, could be 30, 40, 50 years. Read over there. Can you imagine such a thing? So we find that sometimes a person is a very important Talmid Chacham. It could be even a very big tzaddik. It can be Baal Chesed. It can be Baal Midos. One problem he has. People admire him, and it crossed the line between admiration and kavod for the Torah, respect for the Torah, and become an idol worshipping, without people realizing that they're actually worshipping someone as a human being. And what happened? He lose everything because of that, because he didn't stop it. Of course, if he realized it, it's not always easy to realize it. One time I saw a person that someone made him a Baal Tshuva, he admired him very much, and he said to me clearly, if he tells me to eat chazir, I eat, I don't ask questions. You understand? So what's going on? So he's more important than Hashem? According to him, yes. This is what can happen to people. That's why there's so many cults in the world, in Judaism and out of Judaism. It's a very familiar concept. There are groups, someone takes control of a group of people, and he is there, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for them. That's it. Yeah, of course they understand Hashem, they know the Torah, they know everything. They learn even, they even learn Gemara. Really, they're worshipping that person. But a real leader should never let such thing ever happen. Gemara say, אין אדם מתמנה לפרנס על הציבור, אלא אם כן יש לו קופת שרצים בעברו. Person cannot be a leader of a community unless if he has a record. How can such a thing happen? A person comes to you and says, listen, I want to be the Rosh Yeshiva here. Okay, show us your resume. Wait, I was here, I was there. All of a sudden you see criminal record. I don't know, fraud, this, women, who knows what he did. How can you make somebody like this the leader of the community? Do you know anyone like this that will get the job? Even by the conservative and reforms, he won't get the job. So how can it be? So what's the point? Why you have to find him something negative in his record? Why? That if מתגאה על הציבור, if he comes and take control of the ציבור, לא לשם שמיים, for his own benefits, מזכירים לו מאיפה הוא בא. You remind him, hey, you remember what happened 10 years ago? We gave you a chance. You don't stop, we'll send you right back where you came from. Why? Somebody like this will be harder for him to be proud than someone who has a perfect record. This is the nature of a person. This is the words of Chazal. Hard to believe, but that's it. I'm reading to you. You know, David HaMelech says, פלגי מים ירדו עיניי, הלא שמרו תורתך. What does it mean? Rivers of tears came from my eyes for not keeping your Torahs. Who is not keeping the Torah? Who is he talking about? Allo shamru toratecha. Shamru, it's plural. So obviously he doesn't talk about himself. And even if he was talking about himself, we know it's not true because he kept the Torah. But here it's clear that he doesn't talk about himself. So who is he crying for not keeping the Torah? Klal Israel. You see what's happening in his time. Many people do not keep the Torah in the right way. So what was his reaction? הלמדה פושעים דרכיך וחוטאים אליך ישובו. I'm going to teach your Torah, right, to the criminals, to those who go against you, and the sinners will return, will make tshuva. The Navi Yirmiyah, this is what he says. לתת לאיש כדרכיו וכפרי מעלליו. Hashem is faithful to pay a person according to his ways. וכפרי מעלליו. מעלליו, what's מעלליו? All the bad things that he does. מה זה פרי? פרי, it's the fruits of his sins. Hashem pays the person according to his ways and to the fruit of his sins. Why the Navi didn't say, and like his sins? What does it mean, the fruit of his sins? What happened 100 years later when you're already in Olam Haba? Every year, calculate. What did you live in this world? What come out of your sins? What comes out of your averos? You made a place that is not holy. People make averos there. Every year, more and more and more. The fruits, the tree continue to give fruits. Good or bad? Good or bad? Depends what you chose. Menashe was a very Rasha king, wicked. But then he made tshuva. Menashe, the story of Menashe, where is it in the Tanakh? It's in Melachim, one of the kings. But in Melachim, there is no record whatsoever that Menashe made tshuva. When do you hear that Menashe made tshuva? In the book of Divrei Hayamim. Later, much later, conclusion of the past, Divrei Hayamim, they're speaking about this. Why they didn't say in the same book that it says that Menashe was a Rasha king and made Avodah Zarah and whatever he did? Right there, straight, that he made tshuva. Why you wait until another book by somebody else? The answer is, who wrote Melachim? Who wrote it? Huh? No. Yirmiyahu. In his time, all the idols that Menashe put were still there. He made tshuva. But the disco and the bars that he opened are still in business. That's not a perfect tshuva yet. The fruits of your sins continue to grow. You made, yeah, but look what's happening from all the people that you take off the derech. Only later, many years later, when everything was gone, all the idols and everything that he put in his time, they wrote that he made tshuva. Because once he was still around, the tshuva wasn't perfect. This is how dangerous it is to be machti arabim. That even if you make tshuva, don't expect everything to be wiped out. Where is the proof? Terach, the father of Avraham Avinu. So how do we know Terach made tshuva? because Yosef Avraham el avotav. He went to Chas V'Shalom to Gehenom, to his father? No. So that means that's a sign that Terach made tshuva. That his son won't be in heaven, he won't be in hell. But later Terach came back in Gilgul. Reincarnation. Eov. Why he had to come and suffer so much? We see that even he made tshuva, wasn't enough. Wasn't enough 100%. He had to come back again and take all the Isurim. Why? Because there's a rule, when a person makes tshuva, there is a rule. Like the Rambam writes in Ilchot Tshuva, it comes from Sanhedrin, that every Isurei Karet that a person does, every Karet sin that a person make, must receive Isurim, suffering, must. Even if he regret, he's ashamed, his heart is broken, he makes vidu, itachnun every day, few times, Yom Kippur passed few times, so many things. If he did not receive Yisurim, there's no tshuva. It's not perfect. The Yisurim must come. There's no way to replace the Yisurim with a different punishment. It has to come. However, what kind of suffering a person will get, it's in his hand. For instance, if he's Amel Batorah, say, you know what? How am I going to erase 20 years of Averos? Chilul Shabbos, this, that, so many things I did. Bemezid, on purpose. So obviously it has to come to me. Before, let me be Makdim Trufa LaMakah. Let me prepare the medicine before the sickness arrives. To prepare. So what am I going to do? Wait until Chas V'Shalom an accident will happen, or I'll be sick? And I have to go to radiations? Well, what am I going to do? Let me put all my efforts in Torah and Gmilut Chasadim. Be the servant of the public. Help people. Be running, Tomchei Shar, I don't know, everyone. Put efforts. That eliminates the suffering that's supposed to come for Isurei Karet. But Terach died. He did all these Averos, Avodah Zara. It's Avodah Zara, it's like Chilul Shabbos. So how are you gonna make tshuva? Yeah, you made tshuva, fine. So now you have to come back and get the suffering. There was not enough time. He was an old man when he made tshuva. There's not enough time. Sometimes Hashem cannot push in the last 10 years of your life so much Isurim. It'll drive you crazy. You have a mental breakdown. There's not enough space. He has to bring you back and give it to you in another 7 years, slowly. So next time when Chas V'Shalom we have to suffer, don't think, what did I do? I'm not making Averos in this life. I'm not doing Isurei Karet. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Why Hashem is so strict with me? Could be from 80 years ago, from 90 years ago, from a different body b'chlal. So, Darash Rabbi Levi. This is the importance of Zikui Arabim. Listen good. Rabbi Levi says, Pnina v'Satan l'shem shamayim itkavnu. Pnina and Chana, you know the story. She meant well. She wanted Chana to daven, so she meant well. Her children died, didn't help her. She meant well. The intentions sometimes are welcome, but the actions are not. Okay? Satan, he came to Hashem, instigate between Hashem and Eov. Say, Eov, you have anyone like this? Hashem said, go to Eov, but don't kill him. Just do whatever you do. The Satan, Rav Levi say, meant for the sake of heaven, L'shem Shamayim. Rabbi Acha Bar Yaakov, later, in a later time, not Rabbi Levi, somebody else, Rabbi Acha Bar Yaakov, Darash, Dvarav Shel Rabbi Levi. One time Rabbi Acha Bar Yaakov gave a lecture to his Talmidim, and he said what Rav Levi used to say, that the Satan and Pnina was L'shem Shamayim, for the sake of heaven. The Satan came to him and kissed him on his legs. The Satan came, Satan was very excited, got to his emotions. How do we know the Satan has emotions from the Gemara? Here, this is one case, and there's another case with Flamo. You know the story with Flamo? Flamo used to curse the Satan. He used to say, a gira will go in between his eyes. Chetz, an arrow, will go between the eyes of the Satan. So the Satan used to get upset. One time he came to him, pretend he's a poor man with leprosy, with pus all over his body. And he said to Flamo, give me something to eat. And he looks like an old man. Leflemo didn't know he's the Satan. So he said, wait, right here. Don't come in with all this past. Wait here, I'm going to get you something. By the time he went to his kitchen and came back, he saw he's dead in the middle of his living room. It was all a show. So then he started to hear noise outside. Flamo killed an old man. Flamo killed an old man. He got panicked. And he ran away from his house to the bathroom. Bathroom wasn't like today, $100,000 bathroom with chandeliers and leather couches. Bathroom was far away from the house, from the town. What? No flash, no pipes, no nothing. They have a hole, people go there. Imagine, people complain to me that they're poor, they have no parnasa. So I found a very good trick to cheer them up. I said, let me describe to you how you were in your previous life. What do you mean? How do you know? I said, I'll tell you. Your previous life probably was 100 years ago. You lived somewhere, Iran, Iraq, Poland, it doesn't matter, somewhere. You wanted to go, 1 o'clock at night, you need a bathroom. So what do you have to do? You have to light a lamp with some oil, and you have to go into the forest to hide in a place that no one in the town will see you. You have to go far away. Or you have to go very far to the bathroom. But let's say you don't want to go that far, so you have to hide somewhere. There was no toilet paper from Costco. You buy one like this for 2 months. You got to get leaves, snakes, scorpions. You don't see anything. This is how people used to be, just like dogs. How the dogs in the field, but the dog doesn't suffer to go like this to the bathroom. Here, he doesn't have any problem. So your life was much worse than today, even if you were wealthy. The wealthy people also had to go far. What did they do? They didn't have a button, you press and it's flash. So, I never thought of it. So your life is 1,000,000 times better now. But why are you upset? Because you compare yourself to others. See, other people have what you don't have, it kills you. If everyone would be poor in your town and you be a little bit more than them, even though you're very poor, but you feel that you have a little more than them, you know how happy you would be? Because you always compare yourself to people around you. That's why they say in Hebrew, Tzarat Rabim Chatzi Nechama. Problems of many, it's already half a comfort. So what's the real rational answer for that? Tzarat Rabim Nechama Tipshim. Problems of many, not only it's not a comfort, it's a comfort for the fools. Why does it help me that another 500 people around me are losers? It's going to make my situation better in Olam Haba or in this world. What does it help me? You know how the kids are. When the Rabbi reads how much each one got in his mark. So first one he says, he got 90 out of 100. Then he calls Reuven Cohen, 70. Then he says, everyone with his mark. Now if he comes and he says the first one got 40, fail. So he feels horrible because he was the first one. We told him 40, here, take your test. But in 5 minutes from now, he will feel great. What makes him from feeling horrible, feeling great 5 minutes later? He saw his friend 35, 41, 45, 37. Everyone failed. I'm not the only fool here. But really, technically, if a person is clever, what does it have to do what they do? They do good, they do bad. What does it have to do with me? This is the way of the Yetzer Hara. See, don't worry. Everyone is like this. Everyone is like this. That's how people say it. But everyone does it. But everyone does it. What kind of an answer is that? If everyone will be a murderer, you'll be a murderer. What's the connection? Everyone does it. Imagine you tell the police on the Palisades that everyone drives 80. So what do you want from me? I drove 70. Everyone drives 80. You're going to double your tickets for your chutzpah. הנני נשפט אותך על אומרך לא חטאתי. The chutzpah of saying I'm not guilty is worse than the actual punishment of the sin, Hashem says. And even in our life it's like this. Sometimes the chutzpah is much worse. So, why the Satan kissed the legs of Rabbi Acha, Bar Yaakov, and he didn't kiss the legs of Levi? Levi, it was Levi's idea. Levi said the drasha, Rabbi Levi. Rabbi Levi says, Satan l'shem shamayim. Why? Because Rabbi Levi said it only to his own 2, 3, 4 Talmidim. But Rabbi Acha went and gave a big drasha. And he said it to many people. So when Levi said between him and his 1 or 2 students, the Satan didn't feel lucky. But only when he published it to so many people, Zikui Rabbi came and kissed him on his legs. And one more thing we learned from this story. What else? That there are 2 ways to get something from the Reshaim. One is with wars, and one is with sweet talking and, bringing them close with a nice way. Which one works better? Usually sweet talking. Why? Because when people get some compliments and you see you treat them nice, even though they know they're not perfect, they're willing to listen. But if you come with attack, they block their mind, they don't want to hear you anymore. This is what's happening today. Today, especially today, and it's also with the children like this. Also with husbands and wives. Many husbands, they criticize their wives for things that they do. If you look today at the divorce rate, you get very scared. What's happening? Horrible. The young generation? It's mamash becoming almost like the secular world, slowly. So where are we going to end? They already arrived to 70% divorce rate. We're not in that category, Baruch Hashem, not yet. But it's growing 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. What's going to be? We're talking thousands of extra divorce cases. In Israel, in the Rabbanut, you have 2 rooms. Room for marriage, room for divorce. That's how they fill up papers. So every couple who comes, there's an old man sitting collecting tzedakah. He's there for 20 years. It's a true story. So people come, they're happy, they come to register for the chilonim, the secular. So the guy and the girl comes together to write themselves in a marriage room. So when he comes out with all the papers, he says, excuse me, please write yourself in a list over here. So they say girushin, divorce. He said, shame on you. Why, you're wishing us already to get divorced before we even got married? He said, no, God forbid, I don't wish you anything bad. I'm just here for 20 years. I see so many that comes out of here smiling, returning a few months later crying. Do you want to wait 2 or 3 years online? I'm giving you an advice. I will make the line shorter for you. It's a funny joke, but very sad. So the question is, I always say that today, what the world really needs, it's a real college, but not the college you think, no. A college that will teach people to become husbands and wife. What a husband is, what a wife is. How to behave, what to do, what never to do, what to say, what never to say. Preparation, the role of the husband, the role of the wife. This new generation, they have no idea what marriage is. No idea. Sometimes people come to cry about their marriage situation. You know that these mamash, they did all the mistakes that you can think of. And also being parents. Being parents. Criticism. Strict. Many people think that you read what Chazal say, Chosech shifto soneh bno, and the Rambam say that you should sometimes smack your kid. And they think, well, who's going to tell me what to do? The Rambam say to do it, I'm doing it, full force. Mekayem divrei raboteinu. But they don't understand that today the generation is not what it used to be in the time of the Rambam. 50 years ago, a father only looked at his boy, he froze from respect and fear. Didn't have to beat him up, nothing. Just look at him. Yes, Abba, right away. Today, everything is an argument. Yes, no, I want to go, please. Why are you doing this to me? Runs out of the house, come back, makes all these shows. No, what are you going to do? It's not going to help. It's only going to make things worse. Plus today, what's happening out there in the world, Baruch Hashem, you live here, you may not see what's happening out there. That the kids become more and more independent in a young age. It used to be, you cannot get any confidence before you're 18 to even leave the house and sleep one night out of the house somewhere. But today, 12, 13 years old, okay, you're making me problem, I'm going to run away. Runs away, comes back, who knows when. You don't know where he was. How did you manage a month? No food, no clothes. They manage. They manage with all this lousy technology that communicates one with the other. All of a sudden, they all become Baalei Chesed. I need a place to sleep right away. Everyone, find him a place to sleep, running, giving you food, whatever you need. All of a sudden. Where were they when we need them before he ran out of the house? This is what's happening. The Gemara in Gittin Nudchet says like this, Tanu Rabbanan, מעשה ברבי יהושע בן חנניה שהלך לכרך הגדול ברומי. רבי יהושע בן חנניה, he went to a city in רומי, אמרו לו, תינוק אחד יש בבית האסורים יפה עיניים. There's a young boy in jail, handsome, pretty boy, וטוב רוי, not only soft, nice eyes, nice looking boy. וקבוצותיו סדירות, לא טלטלים. Yes, curly hair, מסלסל בשערו. הלך רבי יהושע בן חנניה לבית האסורים, he went to the jail, the rabbi, ודיבר עם הילד דברי תורה. Started to speak to the boy דברי תורה. And he got very impressed. And he said, this must be big in Torah one day, this boy. Must be. הוא פדה אותו בדמים רבים. He paid a fortune for him, even though he didn't know him before that day. Somebody just told him in that city, there's a Jew, you can redeem him by paying fortunate amount of money. And then he was really a big rabbi. What was his name? Famous. What was his name? Rabbi Ishmael ben Elisha. Became very big. מה שמשך עינו של רבי יהושע הוא שהוא יפה. That's the Gemara emphasized. The highlight is in that he was handsome and pretty and I don't understand. What? If the boy was ugly, doesn't worth it for us to redeem him? If somebody tell you there's a Jewish boy somewhere in prison in Harlem, you ask if he's handsome or not? Right away, קדימה, hey, פדיון שבויים. But from this Gemara mashma, that he went and he saw the boy, and then after he spoke to him Divrei Torah, a few things here. Once he saw his look. Second, he saw that he's speaking Divrei Torah, so it means, he knows Torah. And then he redeemed him. Mashma, if he didn't have one of these two, from this Gemara mashma, he wouldn't take him out. So who can tell me what's going on here? What's happening here? Torah I understand, no? So he talks to him Torah. But even Torah, if the boy is ignorant, Am Haaretz, it's not worth to save him. But the point, that was very high price. Very high price. It's not his obligation. Here he took his own money and he redeemed the boy knowing he's going to be Gadol BaTorah. But the point is, listen good. I saw a beautiful explanation for it. It says like this. The thing that convinced the Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania to take him out is that he's handsome and in the right order. Even though he's in such situation, a boy without his family in a jail by the Romans, still is fixed 100% with his clothing and his hair and everything. He was supposed to be broken. People in jail, do you think they care how they look? Even people who are out of jail, when they're free, they always worry how they look, tie, this, that. When they put them in jail, they care about their situation right now. They don't care, just want to get out of there. Nobody cares. So all of a sudden you see this boy, he did not lose his spirit. Still 100% organized. That's one reason. But he said, okay, that's still not enough. Let's see what he knows in Torah. After he saw that he's a Talmid Chacham, he knows a lot, then he took him out with lots of money. So we see from this Gemara, we see that order in the life of a person, order is something very important. Many people learn a lot in their life, but in the end of their life, they don't know anything. They really don't know anything. They know a little bit by little bit, but they don't have the whole puzzle nice. They have a little bit, kraim. One day learn Mishnah, one day learns this, one day learns Chumash, one day Musar for 1 week, this, that, 2 days he doesn't learn at all, goes back, jump to a different Gemara. So in the end, there's really no pattern, there's no system. There's no system in the life of a person in everything, not only in learning Torah, also in a business. You build a business in the right order, you work, you focus, you have patience, don't jump from A to Z and then go back to M. you build yourself in the right order, then you have blessing, success in your life. One of the most important things in life is order, in everything. I know one guy, secular, big crook, very big, but very successful in business. Why? 7 o'clock in the morning, Chiloni. 7 o'clock in the morning is in the office already. What? Devotion for his work, serious, come 2 hours before the employees, prepare everything, works organized, as a blessing, even though he's a crook. In the end, you lose everything. We know how these things ends, but for now, he's doing chayil. Why? Organized. 7 o'clock, how many secular people, 7 o'clock door in the office? And it's not because he wants to beat traffic, because the office is not far from his home, no traffic there, somewhere in New Jersey. You understand? Devotion. One of the opinions when it comes to emunah and bitachon, that even if a person is a complete rasha, but he has big emunah in Hashem, trust in Hashem, whatever he wants, Hashem gives him. Chazon Ish doesn't agree with that. But this is one hashkafa, I cannot cancel it. There's an opinion like this. That even a rasha that have high level of confidence, trust Hashem 100%, Hashem does for him. Rasha. You know, Rav Zilberstein once wrote in his book an interesting story. Rav Zilberstein from Aleinu L'Shabeach. This is his story. He said that when he got married in Yerushalayim, his chuppah, his parents didn't show up. His parents was in America. He was waiting for them to show up to his own wedding. So Bachur in Yerushalayim, parents didn't show up. Imagine what kind of embarrassment. Your parents don't come to your own wedding. Lemachorat, the next day, when he asked them, why didn't you come? Still in America. What happened? You missed the planes? Huh? What happened? Guess what the father answered? What do you think the answer was? No, give a guess.
Don't support money. I don't support marriage.
He said we decided that instead of wasting money on airline tickets, it would be better to put this money aside and give it to you for you to learn more Torah. Parents to their own son's wedding. You understand how you become Rav Zilberstein? People know the difference between Ikar and Tafel. You know, sometimes I'm invited to weddings. I don't want to say where. I don't want to embarrass a whole community. But if you see how much money they waste on food, believe me, if you're normal, you cry. If you're not normal, okay. But if you're normal, you won't be able to enjoy this wedding. Hundreds of thousands of dollars on food, and almost everything goes to the garbage in the end. At least it will go to some yeshiva, fine. In the end, you see the waiters come, a whole platter, 200 pieces of salmon, to the garbage. Your heart is burning. It's not your money, but you see such thing. If you're normal, how your heart doesn't, you can be a billionaire. I think if I had $1 billion cash and I see such thing, it still burns my heart. Even though it's only $200, whatever. The idea, they have everything. The only thing they keep in the end is the whiskey bottles. Well, they gotta throw the whiskey bottles, they keep it, and the wine bottles. But all the food to the garbage. And you ask them, why are you throwing everything? So what are we gonna do with that? That's the difference between Ikar and Tafel. Instead of taking this money, this extra $100,000 went to the garbage that night and give it to their children. For the first 2 years, they have a peace of mind. The guy can learn Torah. 2 months after the wedding, you hear the guy is calling, I need a part-time job. What happened? I don't have money. My wife, this, that. It's a problem. And you remember the wedding, how much they were burning. Stupidity, like unheard of. If not, so then I always talk against it. So some of these guys come to me and say, believe me, if it was in my hand, I wouldn't even want to make such a flashy wedding. But it's our parents, they don't give us a choice. So I say, what do you mean? What, you cannot tell your parents how you want to get married? He said, no, it's in a community, it's a competition. If one of us will do a simple wedding, it's the end of our reputation. Everyone would say that we are cheap. So everyone's playing the game. Everyone is playing the game just The show-off, that they won't call me a cheap guy. They'll burn $100,000 that everyone will say, wow, what a wedding it was. And they call themselves religious. That's the final joke. How can it be? Be religious like this? My cousin, in my own eyes, is a big Talmid Chacham. I saw he asked his student, one of his Talmidim, how do you know how to make a knot to the tie? So the guy said, well, I learned. He said, you don't understand, I know you learned. I'm asking, how did you have 10, 15 minutes to waste on that? They wanted to wake him up to see, how did your Ben Torah that learns morning and night, how it didn't burn your heart to take 10 minutes to practice, to make a tie? Of course, it's an exaggeration. Sometimes you exaggerate for the person to understand the concept, the point. Chazal sometimes did it. They speak in Guzma for a person to understand what they meant. Few guys from Kfar Hasidim, it's a religious place. They went to a swimming pool on a day that it was for religious people, men only. And that moment when they arrived to the pool, the person in the gate was not there. He went somewhere urgently. And for maybe 2-3 hours, he wasn't there. And they did not enter to the pool until he showed back. And in the meantime, all the people, other people who came, the secular, they went in. So when he comes, we'll worry about it. No guard, we'll go in. Wow. So the group of guys that were standing there, Yeshiva Bachurs, they didn't go in. But when the guy came back, he said, what's going on? He said, well, we're waiting here already 3 hours for you. Wanted to go in. So you didn't go in all this time? He said, no, how can we go in? It's Gezel. So he was so impressed, this Chiloni that was standing by the gate, that the next time when they went, they already saw him with the kippah. They told him, oh, you became religious? He said, thanks to you. I saw what religion can do to a person, I got the point. One act, Kiddush Hashem. You know, in Ponovich, they brought all the jet pilots to Rav Shach for a meeting. Did you hear that story or no? They took all the Israeli Air Force, the one who bombed Iraq, all these big shots. They brought them to see Rav Shach. So when they spoke to Rav Shach, he spoke to them, very nice. On the way out, they saw a $100 bill with a nail on the board. And there's a note next to it, whoever lost it, it's here. So the pilot said, what? They put $100 here on the wall? So one of them asked, how long it's over here? He said 3 years. 3 years, nobody took it? 1,000 people here, nobody took it for 3 years? He says, nobody took it. So it was such a Kiddush Hashem, they couldn't believe. How can it be such values? You know, first time in my life when I went to Vishnitz, I saw 10 boxes of cakes. Remember the cheese donuts? I don't know if they still sell it today. It used to be 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Chocolate cakes.
No, not chocolate cake, cheesecakes. It was $1 each 15 years ago. And there was one anonymous person, I never saw his face ever in my life. You know, and you know, so what he used to put in the morning the boxes, and he puts a box. He puts $1 each, and you push $1 and you take a cake. No, nobody sells. There was a guy who comes to take the boxes in the end. I asked him, tell me what, there's nobody sells here? He said, no, he puts it in the morning, and he comes at night to take the money. And I said, did he ever have money missing? He said, one time $1 was missing. For years, everyone takes and put. This was it. So I told that story one time to the secular people. Nobody believed. How can it be? All these years, not only one missing. Say, yeah, when Hashem is watching you, you take and you put. That reminds me that one time I davened by Vishnitz, and I have a friend, he has the suit store. What's the name of that suit store? Elbaz, Shimon Elbaz. You know, they sell in Monsey, they have a suit store. You know which one? On Route 59? Krakow. So one time he sat next to me with his son in Vishnitz, Shachris. He forgot his wallet. So his son wanted to buy something from the supermarket, from the grocery there. So I told him, you have $5 to lend me? So I said, no, I have $100 bill only. Okay, you can take it, bring me change. He said, okay. So he gave it to his son comes back, he gives me 95. Okay, now he owes me $5. Of course, after a few days, I forgot about it. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, we had to go to buy things for the yeshiva from Costco. So I said to the guys, this guy is in Eretz Israel, I said, Aaron, let's daven mincha, that we won't have pressure to run, to come back, shkia. Let's daven, let's go by Vishnitz, we'll catch a minyan. We'll daven like this, we're not limited on time. It's a good idea. We go to Vishnitz, early afternoon, it's hard to get a minyan. So by the time we finish the minyan, I see a box of books. Someone put a box of books. And I look at the books, I see a book of Rav Shimshon Pincus, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, $5 the price. $5 the price. And it's Chinuch Yeladim, very important book. It's hard to get it in a store. It's a very thin book, small book. I said, wow, I can't believe I found this book here. So I asked around the Hasidim, anyone knows who owns this box? He said, no. So where are you supposed to put the money? Yeah, there's prices here, but where you put the money? There's no box, no nothing. So I don't know, maybe it's going to come later, but I need it now. So we were standing, I said, Aaron, you have money, we'll put it in a box. $5 exactly, I don't have, I have large bills. He said, no, I don't have. I'm standing over there 5 minutes eating my heart that I'm going to have to leave this book and go. All of a sudden, this Elbaz comes. So, oh, I owe you $5. He walks in, he sees me, he comes, says, I owe you $5. I take the $5, I put in a box, told him, you see, we were waiting for $5. He showed up. Couldn't be a perfect timing. In the middle of the afternoon, all of a sudden, he showed up into the thing, he gives me the $5, I put, Ashkacha of Hashem. That wasn't the idea, it's not the $5, and Hashem show us, He never leave us for 1 minute. So far for what I've said, any questions? Anything? Everything clear? I want to ask a question. We know everything bidei shamayim chutz mirat shamayim. Parnasa bidei shamayim. You can change it a little bit with davening, with emunah, fine. But mainly, Parnasa is l'shem shamayim. It's mi shamayim. So the question is, what happens if a person collects for charity? Is this considered tzorchei haolam hazeh, or is this ruchnius? If you need Parnasa for yourself, then you say it's bidei shamayim. But chutz mirat shamayim, things of Torah and mitzvot, mitishrei ad tishrei chutz mitishrei. Tzorchei mitzvah, it's considered ruchnius. You want to do a mitzvah, Hashem helps you. It's extra to your budget. What happens if you have yeshiva and you have to collect X amount of money every month, and you go into all the rich people and you collect, and sometimes they don't give, sometimes they give? Is this also gzera from shamayim, or it's in a ruchnius? What do you think? Or it's up to you? What is it? We say, Akol bidei shamayim, include Parnasa, chutz mirat shamayim. Everything that connects to Yirat Shamayim, it's in your hand, 100%. So going to get money to buy yourself food, no, it's nothing to do with Yirat Shamayim. But to go and collect money for your yeshiva or something like that, of course it's Yirat Shamayim. What are you collecting for? So the question is that you shouldn't do any ishtadlus, because anyway it's bidei shamayim, like in a parnasa. For your own parnasa, you don't do any ishtadlus. You have a little business, whatever comes. You don't do advert, nothing. Hashem, I pray to you, parnasa is in your hand, I trust you. That's it. I don't do ishtadlus. But now if you have yeshiva, can you go in the same way with like your own business that you don't do any ishtadlus or not? Adrabah, it's in your hand, and the more you're going to sweat, the more you will collect. What do you think?
This yeshiva is a business event.
No, the yeshiva is a kosher yeshiva. Kosher yeshiva. It's bidei shamayim or beyadecha.
So it depends what the guy's kavanah is. If he is collecting because he's trying to get himself, salary from the yeshiva, then there's one thing. If he is collecting in order to promote the growth of Torah and the growth of Yiddishkeit, then it's the Shem Shemayim, and then then it's no Gzeira.
You just reminded me about a story of a Rosh Yeshiva who came to Rav Chaim Kanievsky. True story. He told him, Rabbi, I owe $50,000 to suppliers in my yeshiva. If I don't get it now, in 2 weeks, the yeshiva is closing down. I never went to America. Everyone tells me, you got to go to America. That's where you bring the money from. So please give me a bracha, because I don't know anything, no English. I don't know anyone there. I don't know drivers, don't know anything. And I'm going with emunah that Hashem will help me to save the yeshiva. So Rav Chaim Kanievsky gave him a great bracha, and he sends him over there. 3 weeks, the poor Rabbi goes from one place to the other. Finally, he covered the ticket. That's it. Cover his expenses. Didn't even bring $1. Came back depressed completely to Eretz Israel. Was ready to tell the Bachurim in 10 days, in 5 days, the yeshiva is closing down. 2 or 3 days later, a messenger bring him an envelope. His name is on it, from Rav Chaim Kanievsky. He opens the envelope, he sees a check for $50,000. $50,000 check. Right away, he took the check, he runs, excited, to Rav Chaim Kanievsky. He comes to him and he says, Rabbi, what is this check? He said, there's a businessman from few blocks away, mamash few blocks away. He made a big deal international, and this is his meiser money. He made $500,000. He came, he gave me this $50,000 check. He told me, who do you think I should give it to? I told him, I have who to give it to. So I remember you told me 2 weeks ago that you need $50,000 to save your yeshiva, no? So here's the money. So the rabbi, the Rosh Yeshiva, told him, Chaim, I don't understand what's going on here. Why Hashem sent me to America to suffer 3 weeks, to go, to get bizyones, all these things that I went through, and in the end, my salvation came from 2 blocks away from my house, from my yeshiva? Why did I have to go around? So Rav Chaim told him, if you would not go to America, this check wouldn't come to you. This check came to you because of the efforts that you did. That answers our question. In your parnasa, Hashem decided your parnasa in Rosh Hashanah. Your yeshiva, it's also depend how you behave. You showed Hashem that you care that the yeshiva will close down. You left your wife, your children, you went against your wish to a country, you don't know English, you don't know anything. You knew you're going to get a very hard time over there. But you did it for the yeshiva. The money doesn't have to come from there, it can come from across the street. The ishtadlus that you did over there brought you the money in Bnei Brak. And one story similar to that, there's a Rosh Yeshiva in Eretz Israel, American kids from here learn there, without saying names. And his wife keep telling him, I don't understand, all the Rosh Yeshivas that I know fly first class. They don't sit like a sardine in a plane economy. You're the only one, there's such an important Talmid Chacham, and you sit in the economy. Told her, my heart doesn't let me take 3,000-4,000 extra from tzedakah money of Torah and use it for my chair. I suffer, it's for the Torah, it's fine. No, it's not right, it's not you, it's kvod Torah. She already built the case. So, one time he said, he went to El Al over there, he said to the teller, he said to him, maybe by any chance I fly with you also all the time, every month. Maybe you have an upgrade to give me. She looks, she said, you know what, you're right, I see your name here. Yeah, okay, no problem, here. She gives him first class, free. He goes in not business class, not first class, in the front of the plane. So he flies, nice chair, great service. So now he started to love it. Next time when he fly, he comes again. Do you have maybe first class, business class to upgrade? I'm flying with you every month. She check, give it to him. 3rd time he comes, she says, sir, today the plane is packed. He said, no, it cannot be. I fly every month, you're always fine. She said, I'm telling you, there's not one chair available on the plane, nothing. Call the supervisor. Supervisor, come, walkie-talkie. Yeah, call him that. He makes a whole thing now over there. After 15 minutes of trying, arguing, no first class today. He's upset. Avel v'chafui rosh. He returns back to his place. Then he gets on a plane with his bag. He gets in. Then a very wealthy Jew gets up from the business class. Kvod Harav, nice to meet you in person. Who are you? I am the father of Moishi, whatever. He's learning in your yeshiva in Eretz Israel. So he said, oh, you're the one. He said to him, I know what you're thinking. The wealthy guy said to the rabbi, you sent me a letter every year to donate to your yeshiva, and I never donated to you any money besides tuition. And this rich guy is well known as a very big in tzedakah. He gives to many yeshivot, many people comes there. So you're probably wondering, he says to him, how I don't help my own son's yeshiva. He says, exactly. You stole the words out of my mouth. I said, I'll tell you the truth. I already prepared, in the first time that you sent me a letter, I prepared a $10,000 check for you. It was ready. I was about to give it to the secretary to mail it to you, and there was one meshulach in my office. He told me, I can't understand how you burn your money. How are you giving this guy $10,000? I said, well, what's the problem? He's not kosher yid. Kosher or not, I don't know, but in my own eyes, I see that he burns this money on first class. He said, I went on the plane and I saw him sitting in business class. You want your money to go to business class? Give it to us. We don't use business class. All the money goes to Torah. I said, business class? Rip the check. He said, but now, in my own eyes, I see that you're going into economy. Hold on. He took out his checkbook. We wrote him a check, $60,000. See, this is for 6 years, retroactive. I imagine how many, maybe until now he gets a check every year. I don't know. The story was many years ago. So what do we learn from this story? Let's see who is clever here. The story is a beautiful story for life. What do you learn from this?
Don't do something that looks bad.
Whatever is delicious has a heavy price. First class, you want first? Hashem will give you first class. בדרך שאדם רוצה ללך מוליכים אותו. Imagine now third time, no problem, sir. We take somebody out, we'll give you the chair. You sit in first class, you'll lose $1 million in 20 years. Think. This first class, you think I saved $3,000. You think you saved $3,000, you lost $500,000. Whatever a person is pushing for pleasure, for convenience, and he gets it, he feels, I got lucky. Not necessarily. You know the price. You don't see the price yet. Why Hashem doesn't show us the price right away? Eliminate the free choice, ma. Of course, after you got first class and you see you just lost $500,000, who would want first class? You run to America on the water. Okay, no problem. Forget about flying. I'll run. Don't want. This is like the kids. They get their own credit card and they go celebrate for the whole month. When the bill comes, they wipe their smile. Now, when they have some things with the price tag on it, can they enjoy it after the price arrived? Can only enjoy when the price was not here yet. Once they see the price arrive, wow, I owe $15,000 already in 1 month. They can enjoy the things. I wish I can return it. So the kids, we are like this, everyone with his own toys. Before we finish, any questions about everything we spoke about? You know, it's easy to talk. To do, it's already another thing. Any? Good Shabbos, everyone. Thank you very much. Call to.